Top Gun Maverick, and one line from that movie, it sticks with me, and it's like, it's not how many fighters are in the air, it's the pilot. Fin fans up north, Fin fans in the south, to the east and to the west. What's better than this? More of this. Now let's talk about it. I'm gonna keep it 100 with this right here. 100 with this right here. I know that, like, Tua is our guy, and Tua's been doing some big things in OTAs. And one thing about OTAs is pretty much like a vanilla practice. It's almost like flag football in a sense, where the rookies come in, they get acclimated to a few plays, and hear some of the play call jargon, and they get to meet each other and kind of get onboarded. And you do have some vets that show up, right? So, word is, out there, Tua was shining like a diamond, out there in OTAs. And if you're a Miami Dolphin fan, you know that, just because everything that glitters doesn't mean that it's gold. And pretty much proof is going to be in the pudding when camp starts, or some of the vets really start walking in there like they have been. When the vets came in, what Tua was doing out there was struggling, and it wasn't being let out the bag at first, but the majority's in on it. The word is out. Tua's still struggling. And a lot of it stems from when he came in, when he first started. Tua was not ready. And ever since he came in, he's been pushed. Now, with Coach Mike McDaniels coaching, now, the thing is with Mike is that, he got the job because Ross and Greer, wanted to find a coach that would work with Tua and be willing to commit to work with Tua. But at the end of the day, all of it matters. All of it. It's a whole 100% matters, to where it's like your job could depend on it. And Mike is going to do his thing out there. He's going to do what he can. He can do what he can, but you can't make something that isn't become what you want it to be, okay? And it's Mike's career, in a sense. Yeah, he is attached to Tua now, just as well as he's attached to Miami. But make no mistake about it. Mike has been in the game for a minute, and he's been coaching since his early USFL days with Sacramento. And one thing about Mike, he is a player's coach. Like how I like to say, Tua is a player's player. Like, Tua plays up to the talent around him, I believe. However, though, sometimes the talent that is playing against him is just as good as the talent that's playing around him. So it kind of makes it a little bit more difficult, I'll say. With Mike, he's a player's. He's a coach's player, but at the same time, too, Mike knows his players. He knows what he wants. You look at Craycraft and you look at Sheffield, who he bought from the 49ers. These guys are over here for a reason, because there's some things that Mike knows about them. You look at Eric Isnakama, and he's there for a reason, because there's something that Mike sees in him that resembles Deebo Samuels, or even better. So it's like, make no mistake about it, Mike understands, his job is attached to Tua in a sense too. But at the same time, he also understands that he's there in Miami to get us some Super Bowls. And at the end of the day, Super Bowl, and with everything that's set in play right now, Tua is set to become the starter, and everything's been built up around him to succeed. And everyone is looking at Miami to take that next step that we've been waiting for, like pretty much since like Chad Pennington. I mean, we got a chance, we got a little taste of it when I think it was Fiedler that went out and Matt Moore took over. But yeah, there's still been too many. There's been too many like summers and winters that have gone by where we haven't seen the playoffs. So, Tua has this chance to do this now. And what they've done, see, okay, let's get with the facts, all right? So, fact is, he was 30-2. He was 22 and so like with more facts, like with Tua is like is the fact that he had several like FBS records and just a litany of records that he broke at Alabama. For example, like he he was first in like FBS career, passing efficiency. He had like 199%. He was first passes for TDs in a season. He was first for passes for TDs in a career with the FBS. And in the FBS, he was first for average gains per play, which was almost like 10 yards per play. He was averaging, and FBS, he was first in the FBS in another account for among players among players that were 400 to 499 completions, and I think he was like at like 199.5 percent, and then like he had a litany of records that he broke at Alabama. For example, like he had 48 TDs. And in the history of Alabama, he had 96 TDs, okay? And he even had 7 TDs in a game once. I guess that was against Ole Miss, like 2018, I think that's what it was. Anyhow, look, Tua came out of Alabama, highly coveted, and there was a lot looking into Tua's future, being, with Miami. And when he got to Miami, he was already under pressure, okay? Because there's that pressure of being a pro. Then you get there and, it's getting along with the team. It's the camaraderie with the team. And I used to play football. And, one thing I know is that, like, at any point, at any time, you should always try to communicate with team members one-on-one, and you should always try to do things to help better the team. And I think when Tua got there, and coaches do got their favorites, I hate to say it like that, but coaches do got their favorites. And I think when Tua got there, he was already under the scrutiny because you had a coach that didn't want you there, and then you had the management that was there that did want you. It was hard for Tua, I'm assuming, to appease the coach and still play his game. And then too, when you had talent that was around you, but the talent that you had around you was hurt, and so we're working with other talented players. I'll say probably not as talented as the other ones, but we were working with those, and it left Tua pretty much on this little pedestal out there, on his own. And being, the quarterback, it's like, well, you are the center of attention. And Tua was probably the player that didn't really like all the attention coming to him. He just liked to get out there and do his thing. However, though, when you're in the NFL, everything matters, and you're the quarterback. You become the attention of glory, or you become the attention of ire. And with Tua, he became the latter, and where he's at now, it's like he has to progress. Okay, we all know that Tua has to progress. What they're talking about and what they're showing out there in the OTAs, that ain't the truth. And the truth of the matter is, there are things that, now, when I played football, I wasn't a quarterback, I was a running back. But I understand that, being a quarterback is going to have three things for sure, And I call it the AIA, the AA, however you want to call it. But it's accuracy, attention, and intelligence. And I think, Tua is lacking. He's lacking in the I think he's lacking in. Okay, let me do that over. Okay, so if I know one thing, there's three things that a quarterback should have. Okay, and it should, the AA or the AIA, however you want to look at it, it is accuracy, anticipation, and intelligence. And Tua is lacking, and where he's lacking at is anticipation. And from a quarterback football standpoint, it might be from the intelligence standpoint too, where he's not being able to read the defenses, and he's not being able to pick it up in time because he's always just a little bit too late, or just doesn't get there, and he's dinking and dunking, and that's not going to cut it on any NFL team. You could be a subpar quarterback and do that and become a journeyman in the NFL possibly, and elongate your career if you want to. However, though, at some point, you're going to have to take shots. Tua's going to have to take shots. He's going to have to just man up and put the nice guy Tua away and come with the dark Tua. How they did in Spider-Man, where, they had the Spider-Man, in his regular suit, and they had the Spider-Man in his dark suit, and he came this other dude. And, well, Tua's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to put the nice guy away, and he's going to have to come and be that dude, because at the end of the day, a business is a business. You can get rid of you and just cut you and let you go.
Click with the FinFan. You can check out the links below. And also know that your support,
they can just trade you or whatever the case might be.
Helps our artists,
at the end of the day,
it also helps
what we're doing here. They're gonna do what they got to do.
And the good thing about it is you also get free shipping with that.
There,
so just
take
a look at the gear that we got.
Want Tua there.
Grab something for
the
you.
Thing is, does Tua really want to be
another your kids, whatever?
Tua might not even have the passion. Like being a football player, you go through different spouts and stuff like that and everything. To where it's like if you're in a bad situation, you could feel like, hey, he could lose the passion. Like that instance could have made this man lose the passion to play. Or he could maybe just lose the passion to play in Miami. Maybe Tua doesn't want to play in Miami, so he's not, I'm not going to say he ain't doing his best. I know he's out there, doing it. I ain't think he out there just, lollygagging around, because somebody can get hurt doing stuff like that. So what I'm saying is that, I think that, with Tua, I think he's really out there, trying to make an effort. But, if he's still struggling with the anticipation of things, because, looking at his FBS records and, his whole record that he did, all the records he did there in Alabama, this man is accurate. Okay, he's accurate, and he could read defenses, or was it just the receivers was just too damn good, and they were already open. But what I'm saying is this, he's in the NFL now, and they got linebackers running 4.40s. Okay, and they got cornerbacks running even faster now. If Greer and Ross, allow this to go on further, where Tua keeps struggling, but yet they still start him, they're wrong for that, because there's no GM and no owner that should be setting up they franchise to fail like that. I mean, they had this whole thing where they